Good morning and welcome to the final episode of Coastal Poland, the small little mini-series in which I explore Poland's only coastline. Before we get into this video, I just wanted to give a quick little preface while I'm stood here at a mall gas station en route to the next location. The very first thing we're doing in today's episode is going to a concentration camp. If that's something you don't want to watch or for some reason you just want to skip ahead, please feel free to. I know it's a bit of a downer to start the video on something so serious, but it just so happens that's how the video is going to work out because I'm doing things as I go along the coastline, and that's the very next thing that I'm going to today, this morning, here in northern Poland. Please feel free to check the little playhead below, the timeline thing on your YouTube video scroller thing. I do chapters on most of my YouTube videos, this one included. So just skip ahead to the next chapter. The rest of the video won't be as serious or as heavy as the first part. I don't even know how much of the camp I'm going to be filming yet, but I just wanted to let you know that not the entire video is going to be serious or heavy or concentration camp centered or whatever. It's just, this is going to be the first part. It'd be a shame for me to miss this camp as it's along the coastline and I am documenting basically what the Polish coastline has to offer. So yeah, I just wanted to give that little preface anyway. Enjoy the video and I'll see you there. So guys, today we are here in a town called Stutthof here in northern Poland. This is a concentration camp called Stutthof. Stutthof is a camp that was opened up on the 2nd of September 1939, only one day after the Germans invaded Poland. If you saw my last video, you would have seen that we visited Westerplatte. That is where World War II started. That is officially where the first shots of World War II were shot, at Westerplatte. And that was on September 1st, 1939. Only one day after that, on the 2nd of September 1939, the Germans decided to build Stutthof, as they called it, in this town of Stutthof here in Poland. Only about 35 kilometers east of Gdańsk, so this isn't too far of a drive from Gdańsk. It's about 40 to 50 minute drive away. And this is the first concentration camp they built as well outside of Germany. And we just walked in, and this is the view that you have as you walk through the main gate of Stutthof. And this is the gate, by the way, that we just walked through. Has a little guard tower, watch tower at the top. There's a couple of rooms to either side of that as well, just on the outside, that we just had a little look in. And otherwise, it's just this open field. We'll have a walk down there. So, as we've just seen, down the middle here, we have these are the remnants of buildings that would have been here. This, for example, this first one here was a camp kitchen that would have been used to prepare food for the people here at Stutthof. Stutthof, by the way, I don't think I mentioned, was specifically built for the Polish people. It wasn't built originally for Jewish people or anything like that. This was built specifically for the Poles. Later on down the line, it then became used for all kinds of people that they didn't want and they wanted to basically put into camps. Poles, Jews, disabled, black, gypsies, the list goes on. It wasn't just Jewish people, it was all kinds of different types of people that the Nazis wanted to eradicate. Here we can see a map, an old map. Here we have Poland. This is Western Prussia. But up here is Gdańsk. And then just over here is Stutthof. So it's really close together. Like I say, it's only about 35 kilometers to get from one to the other.
Even today, Villa. Germans escaped. People were coming, empty house for families settled down. This is the reason why we cannot enter. Does not belong to our museum. When they organized our museum, it was 1962. Buildings were busy. Two big buildings were used as storages, magazines, even today. They organized museum. Buildings were busy.
There's a tour guide in there that was just showing like the model scale of the whole camp when it would have been at its biggest size in the 1940s, and it's kind of talking a little bit about it. And I picked up, he was saying that today the camp's a lot smaller than what it would have been in 1940. He was saying that now a lot of it's all just forest. We have like 4 or something original barracks just here. He says that on the model scale that we just saw, all those trees over there would have been over there as well. I think over there as well, you got forest nowadays, but it would have been a lot bigger back then, basically. And just up there as well, it feels like this is a lot smaller today than it was back in 1940 when it was built. So, well, 1939 when it was built, and then obviously 1940s when it was, I guess, in use. So what stands here today is a lot of a smaller area than what it would have been back when it was originally built in 1939, 1940. On to this second bit, just past like the middle fence that we've got there, there's even more ruins basically. I mean, it's quite well preserved ruins. It almost looks like it was purposely demolished to kind of be flat because it's not in a state of disrepair or something. But we have these, what would have been at one point barracks and buildings and workshops, as the sign here just says, but now it's just reduced down to like a really small wall. So you can see on this photo here roughly what the buildings would have looked like if you can get a good look at that. And these were workshops. And in this whole area, it's just kind of the same thing. We have block 2 over here as well. Again, looking at this board, you get an idea and a sense of what it would have looked like just from the picture in the top right here. So right behind me we have a preserved gallows that was used during the time of this camp's existence. And yeah, it's just really, it's always an eerie feeling being at these places as it is, but to look at something that was literally used to hang people from, or to look at something, or be somewhere where thousands of people died, it's just, it's such a weird feeling, man. Right here we have a depiction of the gallows being used on 2 children. So right here is a picture of the gas chamber, and it says right here that it was built in the middle of 1943. So imagine just being in the camp between 1939 to 1943, potentially 4 years in the camp over there in the barracks, or at least for a couple years, or you know, however long. And out of nowhere, they just build these gas chambers, and then all of a sudden there's a new way to die. And this is what they've built. And obviously you would have had no idea until you started smelling the putrid smell and hearing from other people around the camp, you know, what's going on and where people have gone. And this is inside. Yeah, that's crazy. It's not even all that big either. It's quite a small building, but I'm sure they would have been able to gather in loads of people in there. And like I say, you wouldn't have known just one day this new building's there, and then you just see a bunch of people keep going in, coming out, and as I say, there would have been this putrid smell of burnt human remains. And yeah, but actually saying that, I don't know if they would have burnt them here. Some camps have like big chimneys, and I say that and I know there's a chimney here, so I'm actually not too sure now, because in some camps that I've been to, they use a lot of burial methods. You know, they just bury loads of people in mass graves. Other places I've been to, they've burnt the bodies. So actually I'm not 100% sure on what they did here, but regardless, obviously I'm sure the smell would have been putrid regardless, because you'd have had rotting corpses everywhere, even if they didn't burn the corpses. So yeah, either, I don't know, it's just such a crazy thing to think of. One day, like, the concept of a gas chamber just isn't in your head, and the next it's you know, a big threat to your livelihood and everyone around you. It's just wild. Right here we have the wagons that we use to transport the people in and out of the camps, mostly into. That is the end of this concentration camp here, Stutthof in Stutthof. As we exit the door, come out. That is that. It only took me just over an hour to kind of look around. It could have taken me a lot longer if I was to read all of the information, especially in the first part of it. There's a lot of information, some only in Polish, some translated. I don't always read every single detail in museums. I like to just look at things and kind of just move on and read the things that obviously are more interesting to me. But regardless, that's that. I want to kind of bring up the vibes a little bit. I don't want it to be depressing for any more of this video because that's not what this series is kind of about. But obviously this is part of the shoreline. We're literally on the coast. So, and that's obviously part of, you know, this series. I will end our visit here at Stutthof with a bit more of a positive note and say that it's a free entry museum. You don't have to pay to enter. You only have to pay for the parking. But otherwise actually going inside is free. Unless, of course, you want a tour guide, then it said at the front that it was a 180 zloty for a tour guide. So it depends what you need. For me personally, I liked to just go inside and have a look around. It was more than enough for me. Anyway, that was Stutthof here in Stutthof. Now let's move on to the next location of coastal Poland. We only have a few more locations to visit before we eventually get to the very end of Poland's coastline. Let's go. Well guys, I'm in a location which has only been built in the last few years. In September of 2022, the Polish decided to build this right behind me, which is called the Vistula Spit Canal. The reason they've done this is for ease of access from the Vistula Lagoon into the ocean. Prior to 2022, the only way that the Vistula Lagoon had access into the ocean was through Russian waters. The Poles didn't want that, and they wanted their own independent maritime connection with the ocean. So they decided to build this mega project that I'm just hiking up to a viewpoint now to have a better look at. And in 2022, this thing was completed and opened up. I remember seeing a video about this on YouTube when it opened up by a channel I think called the B1M. And I was quite surprised at how interested I found the video that they specifically did on this, because it's quite a good video. And we've made it to the viewpoint. You can see through this Instagrammable picture spot, you've got this right here. Obviously you've got two bridges, one over there and one here, which when needed and when big ships come through, you have to stop the traffic next to where my car's parked, just down there. You have to stop the traffic and then the bridges lift up. The boats can come through into the ocean right there from the Vistula Lagoon just over there. If you look at a map, it will be quite obvious to see what exactly I'm on about when I say the only access to the ocean from the Vistula Lagoon was via Russian waters. Essentially, from here, for example, they couldn't go this way. They would have to go all the way around. The border with Russia is like there, say, and then they have to go through that border all the way around right to the edge of the lagoon. Russia has one of these things built, and they were able to go through and then come all the way back down. So it was like a massive loop around basically to then get to that point there. But instead of doing all of that, they decided to drop 406 million Great British pounds, which is like 2 billion zloty, to build this. Obviously, you'd have had to have dug out the whole channel, and you know, there's a lot of work that goes into it. I don't know how long it took them to build it, but that's the mega project that they completed, and it looks pretty clean as well. Like, it looks like it's just a clean infrastructure piece. For some reason, the roads are blocked off down here Otherwise I could have driven all the way up there maybe and gone to another viewpoint there, but it's all right because the road's blocked, so that means that I just parked there regardless. But that is a short, brief overview on the Vistula Spit Canal. Interesting piece of architecture in my opinion, and the fact that it gives the Polish maritime control straight into the ocean without having to go through Russian waters. You know, I'm all down for it, you know, I can understand why they would have spent so much money doing this. You also have to drive through this way if you're wanting to go to the very end of this peninsula, because this is now on the peninsula heading towards the Russian border. If you want to go all the way to Piaski, which is my end point for this video in this little series, you have to go over this point here. So for me, it was a no-brainer that I would stop here and just give you guys a little brief history lesson and explain what this is. Not even a history lesson, what am I saying? I give you a little brief educational lesson on what this is and why it's so important and why it gave Poland so much more freedom when it comes to the Vistula Lagoon all the way into the open ocean, the Baltic Sea right over there. So you have this right here as well that we just saw. It says smile, and right here is the name in Polish if you are curious, Przekop Mierzei Wyślane. Now, one thing I'm not too sure about, I'm curious whether the Poles decided to do this post the invasion of Ukraine or before the invasion of Ukraine. If they decided that they wanted the independence regardless of, you know, that whole thing, or whether the invasion happened and then the Polish government were like, you know what, we've had enough of this. We need our own independence every way we can. We keep going through Russian waters. Let's not do that anymore and let's build this. And they just went ahead and did it. I don't know if that's their decision or if that's the way that they were thinking, or whether they had it in the books for a while and they just happened to do it around the same time that, you know, the invasion happened in Ukraine. So that's an interesting one for me to think about. I don't really know the answer to that, but it is also a little bit coincidental how obviously the invasion happens and, you know, also at the same time basically this is built and opened up for independence of control over the water, so that Poland no longer has to go through any Russian-controlled waters. This is, by the way, right next to the town of Skowronki, in case you're curious. Yeah, I never said where we were exactly. Obviously, you can just look up the name of this anyway, but we're next to the small town, and very small town, because I just drove through it, of Skowronki. And this is what it looks like at base level. It's kind of hard to see, that's why I walked up to the viewing point to give you a better view. You can walk over the bridge, or you can, you know, bike over it or whatever. What happens if I walk over it and then there's a bloody ship that comes by and they close the barriers behind me? I'm kind of screwed then, aren't I? I'm just going to be on a bridge that just raises up. But realistically, obviously, you'll know when that's going to happen. But yeah, right now we're just walking the bridge, or one of the bridges. There are two bridges. I'm not going to walk them both. The other one's just over there. Right now we're just walking it to kind of get a different perspective, a different view of this thing. You can see over here the exit that the ships will see. It's actually not too big at all, really. Like, the actual walk across the bridge takes like all of about 30 seconds. And we're going to walk over the other side, just have a slightly better view, closer view of the other bridge. We should be okay to cross here. Right on the, if you can see the floor there, right on the bit where it splits and opens up when it needs to lift up. And this is the view from this side. They've done a very good job of making this still pedestrianised, giving plenty of parking over there. Just in general, like, they have the space to do stuff with this. It's not like it's really cramped or anything. Like, they just said, let's just whack out this enormous space, but let's make it usable. Not only have we got a space for the, you know, the ships to go through the waters, and they've actually got at least these two barriers there, which I guess is actually kind of normal in it for a canal. But yeah, there's just so much space, and obviously there's been quite a few people walking and cycling along here, and like, to be honest, I don't know exactly where they're from, because like the villages nearby that I've just driven through aren't really particularly big. They don't house that many people. So unless I'm about to go through some popular places, I mean, I'm not sure where all these people are coming from. it's a bit out the way to come here just for tourism reasons. Who knows? Anyway, that's that. Just wanted to show you this mega project basically, and just wanted to show you the, one of the many marvels that you can find here in Poland if you just know where to look. You could easily drive past this thing and not even realize its importance, or really just look at it in that kind of way. You just drive past and it's like, oh, that's just another canal. But yeah, it's a very important canal. But anyway, I'm done here. Let's move on to the next place. We are almost done with coastal Poland. That is almost the end of the coast, but not quite. But we're almost at the end of the coast. We haven't got too far left to go. Welcome to Krynica Morska. I've just got here. It's only down the road from where we were just a minute ago. And already I'm seeing quite a lot of interesting things. First of all, we've got this jungle little play yard for the kids. If you look over there, I don't know how well you can see it, but I drove past this a second ago and it just looked very interesting. Again, it's like we saw the other day. I can't remember now which town it was that we saw it, or which city, but it's like these play parks that are kind of all up in the trees, and there's like zip lines and there's all sorts of like platforms for them to walk on. And look up there, you got like various different obstacle courses. It's a very interesting little like play park for children to go in and have fun in. I just find it really interesting looking at that. And that's just on the outskirts of the town that we're in right now. Now that I'm next to it, just looking down one of the streets, this is what we're looking at. We've got loads of stuff. I didn't realize that this is going to be so busy, so touristy. Again, like most places we visited along this way, I actually didn't realize how they were going to be, to be honest. First place we come across, and we've got like wooden statues outside, looking really cool. This is a Italian pizza place. We've got fish and various places up here. Yeah, I had no idea that this place was going to be so busy. Like obviously it's at the end of a peninsula, almost at the end of a peninsula. And like, I mean, we're on our way to the Russian border. Like I just didn't think this was going to be so busy. And yet it's vibing. Like it's nice weather, music is playing from all these different cafes. People are chilling, having ice cream and kebab and whatever else they can have. And this is just a vibe. Like, look at this. You got the wacky inflatable waving arm man over there as well. We got the choco kebab like we had the other day in Kołobrzeg, if I'm not mistaken. And there's just thatch roof places, and this is just looking beautiful. This already is probably at the top of my list of favorite places so far in the last few days while we've been exploring coastal Poland. Have they got the ice cream here? Dzień dobry, poproszę jeden duży świderki.
Jaki smak?
Czekolada poproszę. So we just paid 15 for the large, the duży. Bardzo dziękuję. Miłego dnia. Today we paid 15 zloty for this. Not too badly priced. I've seen worse, I've seen better. We went for the full chocolate. It's a little bit lopsided, but otherwise quite good, and it's going to melt very quickly, so I need to stand here now and eat it. I'll show you a bit more of the streets of Krynica Morska right here. What a wonderful place. This is so cool. I like a place so much better when they have these like 3D statues. I don't really know what you call them exactly, just like the statues that kind of just stood, make places just pop. You know, like all over the place. You just got not just like building, the faces of buildings, but also things that just jump out at you almost. It makes somewhere like this just seem so much more attractive. At least for me, I don't know. Just it's such a cool vibe. Oh, this is already melting. Even like the decor of these places, like look how cute these wooden huts look, for example. And it's just like they take pride into like how things look as well here. It's a great place here. Oh, they've got a crop over there. That shop there, crop. That's like, well, where this top's from actually. I didn't get it from Poland though, I got it from the Czech Republic. But yeah, there's a crop. It's a clothing shop. I wonder if it's open. I wouldn't mind having a little look. They do like interesting clothing designs. From what I gathered anyway, I've only ever been in the one in the Czech Republic, but yeah, let's go and have a look, see if it's open. How cool is this hoodie here? It's a Gengar hoodie. It is just the wrong time of year to buy it, and also is 150 Polish zloty, which how much is that in 35 euro? Yeah, they do have some cool designs in here. Right, that's quite cool. It feels a little bit plasticky though, I'm not gonna lie. The material was a bit weird on that. Never mind. I wanted to actually try and find some new shorts more than anything. I'm alright for tops. Shorts I'm lacking. Because I'm a bit particular with my shorts. I've got my pair of black shorts on now, but I have to have zip pockets. None of them have zip pockets. If the shorts are black, even better. Just a plain black pair of shorts with zip pockets. And if they're loose fitting, even better. That's like the perfect pair for me. But if it has patterns on it and stuff, I'd be alright with that because it's, you know, a bit different or whatever. But there was just nothing in there. Nothing had zips on the pockets. All the shirts weren't quite what I was looking for. Although there were some cool designs, I would have probably gone for the Gengar hoodie if I had the money to spend on it, and also if it wasn't like 30 degrees right now here. We've now come down to a different road, not the one we were on a minute ago, before looking in crop, but a different, I think this is like the main street here in Krynica Morska. We've got a few bits up there, but mostly it's all happening down this way. We also have Ferris wheel, fairground, and bits over there. So I think we'll have a look down the main street first and then go from there. You see what I mean again with like the 3D-ness of it? I don't really know what you call it. The statues all kind of popping out. It's just looks cool. Got a mystery box vending machine. Oh, it's the like lost Amazon parcels again. They just love here in Poland to like take Amazon parcels and just sell them on the beachfronts. I saw it the other day as well, and now I'm seeing it here. But the other day I saw like a whole desk of them. Here that was only a machine with a couple, but they just love giving like mystery packages. So if you've lost an Amazon package here in Poland, you ain't getting it back. If I'm looking at this correctly, I think you can get a kebab Zapiekanki. You got kebabowa right there, which I'm pretty sure means kebab on your Zapiekanki. So I might give that a go. I'm interested to try that out. I don't know what is going to be on it though. I don't want any sauce or anything like that, you know. It would ruin the whole thing for me.
Dobry.
Dzień dobry. Czy Zapiekanki ma sos?
Czosnek ma sos. Może pana może mieć, może nie mieć.
Okej. Nie ma ketchup czy
Jest
majonez?
ketchup, jest czosnek,
Okej.
majonez.
Jest możliwy...
Do kasy Adam? Podejdzie do kasy? Tak.
Dzień dobry. Jest możliwe zapiekanki bez sosu? Bez ketchup, bez... Okej. Poproszę zapiekanki kebabowe 25.
Czyli jedna mała, tak?
Tak. I bez sosu.
To będzie wszystko dla pana?
Tak.
17 zł.
Cool, dziękuję. Look at this place. We've got the kebab meat over here. Spinning.
Nie? Dla pana?
Nie, to jest dobrze, dziękuję.
80 minut może pan tutaj...
Okay, dziękuję. They got the kebab meat here spinning. That looks fucking delicious, look at that. 17 zloty for a Zapiekanki, which is a long pizza bread thing with a kebab. Well, the kebab meat on it. So he says just to sit down and wait. So that's what we'll do. Oh, yeah, even just looking at this bar, it's a quite rustic kind of feel to it. And outside, you just got gorgeous views of Krynica Morska. Yeah, it's a pretty sick place. I really hope they don't put any sauce in it, you know. I said without ketchup or mayonnaise. I kind of forgot how to say mayo. I can't remember if it was mayo or mayo or mayonnaise or something. I didn't want to bodge it, so I don't know. I just hope they don't give me anything that I don't like, especially sauces, because you can pick off like mushrooms, for example, if you don't like mushrooms, but you can't really get rid of sauce. When sauce is on there, it's kind of on there. So yeah, I'm just hoping we don't get anything dodgy like that. I should have got a drink as well, eh? I might have to go buy a drink as well. I low-key would like a beer, just like a small beer, but I don't know if I should. Yeah, just look at how appetizing these drinks are up here. Look at how appetizing the advertisement is. The advertisement on these drinks is have like an old school art design to them. I just find that really sick, and also it kind of wants me to buy a drink, but I like 30, 40 zloty each. Like, I don't really actually want one. But then saying that, it's only like, what, 40 zloty is about 8 quid, I think. It's not too bad. It's like standard, to be honest, for a non-alcoholic cocktail. So here it is, no sauce, luckily. I think normally what they do is they get the ketchup and they kind of do like that on it, in that kind of pattern. But here we have the kebab meat on top with cheese and whatever else makes up the Zapiekanki, which is pretty much a pizza bread. Let's give it a go. It's piping hot as well, so it might burn me, but let's give it a go. That was a big bite. Yeah, that's delicious. It's got mushrooms on there. It's got like the pizza tomato sauce based thing. Obviously the kebab meat, the cheese. The bread is really soft because of all the tomato sauce in there, and the cheese, the oils and everything. Onion as well. They just got a standard Zapiekanki and they just improved it by adding kebab meat on top as well. I'm a big fan of this. I don't think I've seen this anywhere else, like apart from coastal Poland. That's the, I guess, kind of cross section, if you wanted to see that. What's also mad is this is a pretty big size, and this is only 25 centimeters, but you can go for a large one, and you can go for a 50 centimeter, like literally double this size. I don't know who would want to eat an entire 50 centimeters of this. What a tasty place, what a tasty Zapiekanki with the kebab meat on top. That was a really nice thing. I know probably it's not the most Polish thing you could have with the kebab meat chucked on there, but Zapiekanki, good enough. And also, you know, like, it's just really tasty with the kebab meat as well. So that was actually a pretty good little bite to eat. That was 17 zloty. It's like £3.50 or something. We'll continue looking up here. I haven't got too much longer here in Krynica Morska, to be honest. I've got like an hour left maybe or something. And it's still like a fair bit to still just have a look at and just explore. I mean, a lot of it is like the food places, the ice cream places, the little stores that sell your gift shops, you know, that sell your gift shops, you know what I mean. The gift shops that sell your little bits and bobs that you know, touristy bits that you want to buy. And then you get like nice little Polish bars like this. Hot herben. When you walk by places like that, it's just casually there as if it's like not that special, and then they just look fucking incredible inside. They're all built like wooden and stuff, and they all just like, there's really like fantastic decor inside of those kind of places. These places are everywhere on these coastal cities, I've noticed, or towns or whatever. And so are these. They call them chipsticks here. Those big stick things with the crisps on them, you know, the little rounded chips. I've had one once. I wasn't the biggest fan of them, to be honest. I thought they'd be like nice and crispy, like a crisp. or like everywhere else we call them like a chip, you know, the like the crisp, you know what I mean? What the British call a crisp. But anyway, they're not. They're softer, like a half-cooked potato or something. They're weird, and they're not the best thing I've ever tried. And we've made it down to the bottom of this particular street. And that's it. We've got an ice cream store here. Right across the road, we've got another ice cream store. What have we got here? A little arcade area. You can tell by the little the noises. They're smashing the little air hockey table. And that's this place. I don't have cash. Otherwise I'd go in and, you know, have a little, you know, partake in some of the machines maybe. That's quite a cool little banner actually, isn't it? Pikachu and Donkey and Stitch and Powerpuff Girls all just on there. It's just a cool little design. You know, it would definitely entice anyone who likes Pokemon or Shrek or Lilo and Stitch. And we've got these as well. They really love their big teddies here in Poland. Capybara right there. And that's kind of a quick little exploration of the two main streets that I've seen here so far in Krynica Morska. And so I guess let's go and check out by the sea or by the beach. So we're going to go see if there's much of a beach life here. Now, because this is a peninsula is like a thin line essentially of land. It's surrounded by 3 ways of water. The side that we're going to go on is not actually the same side we've been seeing this whole trip across coastal Poland. The side that we're going to look at right now, because it's just closest to us right here, is the Vistula Lagoon. The same lagoon which is connected obviously to the canal we saw a minute ago. Obviously the canal is also then connected to the ocean, but yes, this is the lagoon that is connected to Russian waters that eventually leads up to the other canal on the other side in Russian waters. So we're going to go check it out. So when you see the beach or the water, if there is anything there, it's not actually going to be the Baltic Sea that we've been seeing, but instead it's going to be the Vistula Lagoon. So we're just having a walk down now. This is so beautiful. I know I keep saying that, but just look at the views right here. It feels so, like we feel like, well, I don't know about you, it just feels like I'm in Spain or somewhere like that. You know what I mean? Like it just has that aesthetic to it. It really, from all of my experiences in different places and towns and cities and stuff in Poland, up until 5 days ago, none of this really feels to me like Poland. Obviously I know you've got Polish language everywhere and been speaking Polish and whatnot, but like when you're looking at it, the aesthetic, the views, all of that just doesn't feel Polish to me. But obviously it's just a side to Poland that I've never experienced previously. Previously I'd always experienced city life of Poland, I guess, and a little bit of the village life as well. Look here, we can get a whole basket of strawberries. Or blueberries or whatever. Right outside of Polo Mart, a competitor I see, starting up their own small little business to compete against the giant corporation. So yeah, it's just a beautiful day today. Again, we've been so blessed. I mean, I know it's summer, but we've been so blessed with the weather here. Check this place out. We've got like a restaurant that has a bridge just to get over to the tables on a ship. That's pretty cool. I don't think that's a real one. May have been ex-real or whatever, but it's certainly not on water now. It's like built into the land because the water's over there still a little bit. Here's the fairground just in front of us. We can go and have a little look. We've also got a small pier over to our left. We can have a look at that as well and go check that out. But first, let's go and check out the fairground quickly and just see what's popping off down here. We've got even more ice cream. I don't know how all these ice cream places stay in business. Like there are so many of them. And I know I've been doing my bit to make sure they stay in business, but come on, it's ice cream place after ice cream place after ice cream place opposite each other, all over the place. I guess when it's busy as well, like everyone's going to be getting it. So, but it's just crazy how like you're just never a shortage of ice cream places. Look, there's another one. Ice cream and coffee. This place is pretty cool. So yeah, this is the fairground here in Krynica Morska. We just got various little rides, of course. They got like a nice little log flume thing just here, but there's no like drop or anything. Personally, I like a log flume that has one of those mad drops that just drops you down and you'll get mad splash of water. Yeah, this is cool, man. Nice little roller coaster there. Yeah, this is a cool little theme park right here. Obviously, it's all for kids, but it's just the entertainment of the place. You know, for a town that seemed quite small on the map, it didn't seem all that important or significant or whatever. It just seemed like it'd be a bit of nothing, to be honest. It was just another stop along the way before we get to the end point of coastal Poland. I literally thought we'd be here for, I don't know, like an hour max. And even though I've only given myself 2 hours, like, I don't know, I just didn't expect there to be so much. But again, I've been proven wrong. And right here in front of us, we have the Krynica Eye. They love their hard base right here. I can imagine it probably gets a bit busier here a little bit later in the day. It's quite early in the day still. We're on a mission right now to have a look out in the distance and see if we can see Russia before we make it to the border. I won't have a clue exactly where it's going to be, I don't imagine. But let's see what we can see here. This is the view of Krynica Morska. Right here. Look at how amazing it looks. So like I say, right behind me is the lagoon, the Vistula Lagoon. And if we look this way, that is where we're heading, towards the Russian border, that way, towards Piaski. And there's a lighthouse over there as well. Wow, what an amazing place. Up here it looks sick. Oh, we're just about at the top right now. Here's the fairground from above. So we're almost at the end of this road trip, not quite. We have at least 1 or 2 more stops. Obviously Piaski being the final stop. There's, I think, 1 more stop after this, if I'm not mistaken. And then it's going to be the Russian border. I think I have to walk to the border, I'm not really too sure. That's basically coastal Poland right there. I've had a fucking fantastic time exploring coastal Poland. Right here below me is just fantastic views, everyone just enjoying themselves, having a great day out in the sun. I'm up here in this Ferris wheel, which was 30 zloty, about £6. And yeah, what more could you ask for? Here's my view right now. It's just been a fantastic little 5-day trip along Poland's only coastline. Yeah, I would really recommend it. I mean, obviously, if you watch all 5 episodes, you'll see the places individually and which ones were better than others. But yeah, what a fantastic trip this has been. So you can see the land on that side there. So all the water in here is the lagoon, connected by the canal that we visited up there. So it comes through here, all the way around, and way up there, somewhere is the border with Russia in the middle of the water and a bit on land here. And then the canal on the Russian side is way down there, like many kilometers down that way. So all of this water is trapped in here, apart from now, these 2 canals, which used to be just the one in the Russian side. All right, we're gonna have a look up the pier now, as one of the last things we'll do here in Krynica Morska. It's literally just across the water from where we just were, up on that Ferris wheel. And we're just gonna have a little walk down here, a little nice leisurely stroll, and see what's about. I can see on the other side already there's some like tents and stuff like selling beer and food and whatnot. The typical stuff you'll see all along coastal Poland, but over there for some reason they're all in like these white tents. We'll go check that out in a minute as well. But first of all, take a leisurely stroll up here on this pier. I don't actually know if this is properly classed as a pier. No, it's quite loud over there as well. They're building a roller coaster over there. I don't know if you can see the yellow roller coaster in front of the Ferris wheel. But they're building a new roller coaster there. So they're kind of drilling away or whatever they're doing, making a racket. So right here you can get a boat out into the lagoon. This is the person that you get it from. You can go out into the lagoon right there and see Krynica Morska and other places from the lagoon. Otherwise, I don't think there's much more happening down here on the pier. And this is the end of the pier. There's not a lot happening on this pier, if I'm going to be honest. But this is one last look at the lagoon here before we head off into the next location, which is going to be a town called Nowa Karczma. We're going to go check out Nowa Karczma. It's the last town, I think, before you get to Piaski. I think Piaski is quite a small place. I don't think there's going to be much there apart from the border, potentially. I'm not really too sure, hence why we're going to go check it out. Nowa Karczma is the next place up the road. We're going to go check that out. And I think that's going to be pretty much everything from me here in Krynica Morska as we leave the lagoon. It's been an incredible place, actually. I actually didn't expect this, but nice surprises when you visit places and you explore them yourself. So we'll just walk back to the car now. I potentially might not have another ice cream on this little coastal Poland road trip. I'm not sure. So I'm going to get one right now before we go back to the car. We're going to go to those tents over there and we're going to go check them out, and we're going to go buy potentially my last little Lody kręcone, my twisted ice cream on this 5-part series, because I just don't know if I'm going to get another one in Nowa Karczma or in Piaski. So let's go and check out these white tents. Let's go and get myself one last ice cream potentially, and we'll move on to Nowa Karczma. Oh, look at these. These are pretty cool. Various different designer clocks. I only wish I had the space to take one back. I would probably buy one of those. They're pretty cool clocks right there. They weren't even that expensive either. Dzień dobry. Kartką jest dobrze. Dziękuję. Pajda chleba ze smalcem bez ogórki.
Sam smalec?
Tak, tak, tak. Dziękuję.
Jedną?
Jedną, dziękuję.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Dziękuję, miłego dnia. This is my pajda chleba. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is a huge piece. It was 15 zloty, so that's about £3. Huge piece. We have smalec, which is like a pork fat or pig fat or something, pork spread, something or other. So I didn't come here for this specifically, but I see it, and I wanted one the other day actually, and I couldn't get one because I only had card and I didn't have cash. That was from Hell, so I couldn't get one in Hell, and so I've kind of wanted to get one ever since. I really hope it lives up to expectations from what I can remember at the Kraków Christmas market. Right here we have our pajda chleba with smalec spread, which is a pork fat of some kind, a pork fat spread. So basically like from a pig or something. Anyway, we've got that. We're gonna take a bite. I hope it's as good as what I remember from the Kraków Christmas market, although that had like a cooked meat on it, like kebab or something, and the juices all melted into the bread, and it was just so delicious. I think this is still going to be amazing. I don't think it's going to top what I had at Kraków Christmas market, but let's give this a go. I just paid 15 zloty for it, which is about £3, so let's give this a go. That's a massive piece of bread. It was so hard to bite. That is really good. It's going to be so filling in this whole thing, you know. A little reminder that here in Krynica Morska, they have wild boar. And in general in Poland they have wild boar, but I've never actually seen a wild boar. I guess you'd have to go deep into the forest to find them, I'm not really sure. But I kind of forget that. I always think of the bears and the wolves, the elk, but not the wild boars. It would be sick to see one or any of the other aforementioned animals, but I imagine it's probably a bit rare to see them. I'm not really sure. All I've seen so far is a snake, a couple foxes. Struggling to think what else I've seen. I've seen a few other things. Nothing really amazing or like wow. The snake was the most crazy, but it only ended up being like a really tiny, shitty, pathetic snake. So yeah, I don't know. But just to see a snake was kind of cool. We're now walking back down this road here that we started off in this town of Krynica Morska. What a beautiful sight, as I say. All of the buildings having these signs that pop out really gives it character, and I'm liking it. Just down here on my right hand side, hopefully there should be one of these places to give me one of my ice creams. Because like I say, it should be my last one, or it most probably will be my last one of this whole entire coastal Poland road trip. So if we can find one, then perfect. So far it is all just kind of jewellery shops down this side though. I should have gone on the other side. Gone to where I went earlier maybe. Look at these road signs as well, by the way. Look at these road signs and look at how tall they are and how many different things they're saying, like go up here for that and go down there for this. There's just so many. I've not seen them like this before, and today I've seen quite a few like this in this general area. Between Gdańsk and here in Krynica Morska, I've seen like maybe a handful like this, and it's just like when you're driving by, which one are you going to look at? Because you can't read them all, especially as half of them are kind of really faded out, but you can't read them all before you, you know, get to the point and you're like, oh, we need to go right or left or whatever. Like, it's just kind of a crazy system to have all of these different things just stacked up with like 12 on top of each other. I got my last, potentially my last ice cream, my last Lody kręcone, or Lody amerykańskie, or Lody włoskie. What were some of the other names for it? I can't remember. Oh, świderki, that was another name for it, or whatever else you can call this thing. This has been an amazing staple for the last 5 days of me touring coastal Poland, and I've enjoyed every single one of them as much as the last and the next. I like these ice creams so much, and I really wish we had them back at home. They're just really nice. Like, not even the shape or anything, just like the consistency. The fact that they're just so creamy and so, I don't know, just like thick and whatever. Properly made, I would say. So full of flavour as well. Every single one of them just as good as the last. Before we continue with coastal Poland and checking out the last few places along the coast, I want you to check out this place, this traditional Polish restaurant. Look at how awesome this is. All the tables are made out of wood. The structure's made out of wood. They got one of these wheels in the middle. Like, that's just such a vibe. That's just so sick. It's actually got water pouring into it as well. Pouring into the floor. So it's like an actual working water wheel. And then obviously they've got food as well, which is pretty cool as well. And then check this out, rotisserie chicken. You can't really see it all that well, but you can a little bit. I walked past it earlier and I saw the interior with that place, the decor. I thought that was just such a cool place. I had to just show you guys on the way back. I like the water wheel in the middle, just a working water wheel in the middle with, you know, nice music playing, everything's made out of wood. It's a very homey feel, you know? All right, guys, so that has been it for Krynica Morska. Let's continue this road trip. As I say, we've only got a couple more stops and then we've completed this video and this little mini series. On to the next stop. Okay, well, all that talk about Nowa Czarma and Piaski, turns out they're both the same place. So rather than visiting one and going to the other, we're in the same place, which is known as Piaski. The locals call this place Piaski, and on the road signs it's called Piaski, but on Google Maps it would have you believe that this place is called Nowa Charma. So I don't know if like Nowa Charma is like a newer name for a town that used to be called Piaski or something, but it's called Piaski regardless. And FYI, Piaski is the Polish word for sand, so that's what this town is named after, I guess. I'm not really sure, but we've just parked up here. I just tried parking up in a car park kind of up the road, which is slightly closer to, well, actually quite a lot closer to where the start of the hike is. Unfortunately, they only take cash for the parking, so if you happen to ever come here, bring some cash, because there's been quite a few things I haven't been able to pay for because I've only got card. And this parking would have cost me 30 zloty, which would have been £6, give or take. And he was just like, oh, if you've got other cash, euros or whatever, I'll take it. I literally have nothing. So he was like, sorry, you're going to have to park in the town. So I found some little lay-by. Hopefully it's okay. I'll have to find out in like 3 hours when I come back, because this is a fairly long hike. I've just started here and I'm just basically following Google Maps, hoping that it won't lead me to a dead end or anything crazy like that. It almost looks like I could have driven my car down here, and it's a good sign that I see other people up at the end there. So yes, that is a good sign. Once we get down here for like a kilometre or so, we'll then get to the car park where I was refused entry because I don't have cash, and then I'll know where to go from there. Well, I know where to go from here really, but I'll have a bit more of an idea down there. So yeah, this is the final walk here in Poland before you reach the border with Russia, a country I've never been to, a country I've been wanting to go to for a while, but now due to political stances and stuff, it's probably not that easy to get to at the moment. It's probably best not to until things kind of stop and settle down and whatnot, you know what I mean? But this is quite a beautiful little forested area, I must say. And to be fair as well, like when I say this is the border with Russia, I have explained already, but I will explain again. This is the border with Kaliningrad. It is Russia. It's an exclave of Russia. It's not like the main landmass of Russia, but Russia do own Kaliningrad, this piece of land, this exclave that's in between Poland and Lithuania. It's just this land that Russia owns for some reason. So yeah, don't think it's like bordering the main country. To get from Kaliningrad to Russia, to like the rest of Russia, you still have to go through at least one country to get to Russia. For example, Lithuania or Poland, and then to Belarus, and then to Russia. So it isn't like the main landmass of Russia, but it is still a part of Russia. If you understand how exclaves work, then obviously you already know that. We have got an hour and a half of walking on sandy, wooded routes like this, just for me to get the shot of me at the border, to then walk an hour and a half back this way. Fun. And you know what this means as well? I had other things planned today. This series obviously ends when I hit the border, but I had other things planned today to visit, and I'm already kind of behind schedule. And this has taken me a lot more behind the schedule because I had planned to be here for about half an hour, forgetting it's going to take time to get to the border by foot. There are some things I wanted to do on this trip, this holiday, that I'm not going to be able to do now, and I'm going to have to miss out on a couple things. But that's not going to affect this little 5-part series of exploring coastal Poland anyway. So I've made it to the car park that I was just not able to park at, and here it is right here. So if you come here, you do have to pay by cash, and it's good to know. But now you've got two ways, either by the beach or through the forest. Dzień dobry pan. Najlepsze... Okay, dziękuję. I didn't even need to ask the full question. I was going to ask if it was better to go through the forest or down by the beach. Okay, so here we go. Oh yeah, we got a sign right here. Krynica Morska, 3 kilometers. I guess if we go by the beach, we're walking in pure sand the entire way for 3 kilometers. and it ain't something that I want to do. And instead, we've got quite a nice little path in comparison to a bunch of sand. I kind of wish I had a bike now because they're making it a lot quicker. And I'm just here yet again, only after a few days of walking through Świnoujście National Park, doing the same thing there just to go and reach a particular point. I'm doing the same thing again today. How far do I go? Świnoujście National Park, okay, that was 6 kilometers that we walked. So in comparison, this is only half there, and then obviously back as well. So actually, we'll get these 3 kilometers done in no time. I can run 3 kilometers in like 20 minutes maybe, or 15 minutes. I don't know exactly how far. Oh wait, 6, 12, 18, probably 18, 19 minutes, something like that. I can do 3 kilometers with running. So if I'm walking it, probably like 35 minutes to get there. And oh, so that's, if that's correct, if my maths is mathing, then actually it's not going to be too bad to get there and come back. We've already done like a good kilometer, I would say, from the car to here. So yeah, this isn't too bad. You still have to walk for 3 kilometers to get to the border though. Kind of thought, you know, just like with other places here in Poland, you could just kind of drive up to it, you know, get your photo with the border and then fuck off again. But it's not the case. As we walk up here, we have another sign here on the right that says Krynica Morska, the border of Poland, or Polish border, or you know, something like that. Krynica is border. Right on the left-hand side here, we have some graffiti. Now, you know, it's quite strategically placed, I'll say. Before we walk any further, we've got a little walk to the beach, and I think we're going to check out the beach first. The border's going to be the very last thing we see. Yeah, I wonder if he's come here to look at it himself. We're going to look at it ourselves. All along this coastline, from Świnoujście all the way to every single town I visited to now, I've seen signs like this, but they've all had different numbers. 25, 5, Piaski. They've all been different numbers. I can't remember what the highest number I've seen all the way down at Świnoujście was, because I didn't really pay attention, because I didn't think it was a thing. But I'm imagining the numbers start from 1 down there at the border of where we're going any minute now. Because I saw like number 20, I can't remember what town or city it was now. It might have been like Kołobrzeg or something that I saw like number 20. Could have been, I don't even know where. And maybe in these vlogs in the background, you've seen those signs as well. You'd have to watch them back to I don't know, look out for them or something. But yeah, I didn't realize until just now. Well, I just saw that and it just kind of reminded me. I've seen it enough times, I kind of figured out that there are various entrances, because wejście, if I'm saying that correctly, is entrance, and wejście, which I can't say correctly because they're both basically the same word, is exit. Wejście, wejście. They're so similar. There's just one letter difference, and it's so annoying because that one letter is such a similar sound. I can never get those two words correct. Earlier, I was asking someone for, what was it? I was trying to exit the car park actually at the concentration camp earlier today. And I was trying to say in Polish, my ticket doesn't work for me to exit the car park. And he goes, your ticket doesn't work for you to enter the car park. I go, exit in English. I'm like, I can't exit. And he's just like, oh, okay. And then he come to help me. It's such a similar sound for me. I can't differentiate wejście, 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 wejście. It's so silly that exit and entrance, or enter and exit, such a similar, like two opposites, but they're such similar sounds. Okay, that over with anyway, but like I'm saying anyway, different entrances onto the beaches of Poland, and they're all numbered. I don't know, there's probably 40 of them, maybe, I'm just guessing. But here is the beach, after that little rant, of Piaski, Poland's last beach. Let's make it down there and have a proper look. I can now see why they call it Piaski. There is so much sand here. Obviously, it's a beach. I'm just, you know, chatting shit while I'm walking down. And I've got sand in my damn shoes again. I thought I was going to avoid sandy feet and sandy shoes for the rest of this trip. but one last time cannot hurt. So we have Plaża Biała, White Beach. It still says Krynica Morska, maybe that's the voivodeship or something, you know, the shire as we call it in the UK. The county, you know, that's the word I'm looking for. So guys, we have made it to the final beach here in Poland. Down that way is going to be the border with Russia, only just under 3 kilometers down that way. And this way is the other direction of Poland. This is the Baltic Sea that we have traveled down for 5 days, but we're not yet fully completed. We are almost there. I don't know how many kilometers it's been since Świnoujście, but I would estimate a good 500 kilometers. All the way down in that direction is where we started off 5 days ago, and we're only 2.7 kilometers away from the finish over there at the Russian border. Here is Piaski. This is Piaski's beach. This is the water here at Piaski, and that's all I've got to say for Piaski's beach here. Let's move on down and see if we can get to the border of Piaski, which is the border of Russia and Poland. We've made it to the Polish-Russian border here in Piaski, all the way from Świnoujście, 500 or so kilometers down that way. We come all the way across Poland's only coastline to this border right here into the Russian Federation right behind me, as is read by the sign behind as well. There's obviously the barrier there, it's fenced off all the way down the border, and there's a car behind as well to make sure that nobody breaks the rules and crosses over the border, because it's punishable through, I don't know, getting arrested or something. But yeah, that is the end of the line for the Polish road trip here, the end of the line of the Polish coastline. And yeah, 5 days spent traveling down. It's been an amazing experience. But before we end this, let's go and check out down here, because as I showed you a minute ago, we have Wejście 1, Piaski. This is the very first entrance. As I say, up the road we had Wejście 5, and now we're going to look at number 1, because maybe there'll be another border or something over at the beach. We're just off to check the beach one last time to finalize that we've visited the entirety of the coastline here in Poland, all the way from Świnoujście, 500 kilometers down that way, all the way here to Piaski, on Poland's most northeastern point. Piaski. This is the coastline in front of us that we're just making our way to. And the border with Russia is literally this fence right next to me. That marks the difference between Russia and Poland. The Russian Federation, as the sign read. Here we have a stop sign covered in stickers of all sorts, some a bit more crass than others, some for and some against Putin. This is the line, this is the border between Poland and the Russian Federation. Over there, I don't know if you can see, are some kind of birds. I don't know if these are penguins or what. It's hard to tell, to be honest. I don't actually know if you can get penguins in Kaliningrad, Russia, or whether they're just a black bird that kind of looks like them from a distance. I have no idea. Right here is the same sign that I just saw up there. I didn't properly show you up there, so I'll try and reverse back on the sand and show you this sign. It says, "Dear tourists, you are at the city limits of Krynica Morska. This is the border of the European Union and the Russian Federation. Please be informed that this is the state border and it is forbidden to cross. Trespassers will be prosecuted." And then some legal stuff next to it. Technically, I kind of just put my arm over the border, but there's also 2 little border bits. There's like a no man's land in between. Just down here, there's like a border there and a border here or something. But that is the sign right there. I'm kind of a little gutted. There's no Russian flag on it. I wanted to see a Russian flag there. That was part of the reason why I come here, to see the Russian flag next to the Polish flag. But I don't know, maybe politically that kind of signifies something that Poland doesn't want to signify. I have no idea. But anyway, guys, we have spent the last 5 days traveling down Poland's only coastline, starting all the way in Świnoujście and visiting many beautiful, wonderful cities and towns along the coastline along the way. Over the last 5 days, we visited some fantastic places, which I hope to get the chance to visit again someday. As we started the video all the way down there, and we've traveled all the way this coastline, we even went along the Hel Peninsula, come back out, visited other places, and we slowly made our way down until we got to this point here, to Piaski, Wejście number 1, Wejście 1, here in Poland. This marks the end of Poland's coastline right here in the sea, technically in the sea. The wooden posts that go into the water, that marks the end of the Polish coast right here. And what a fantastic journey this has been. Just take a look at the coastline right here. And look, this is quite a quiet beach. It's pretty quiet right here compared to some of the other beaches that we've seen along the way. And look, if we look behind us in Kaliningrad, Russia, there isn't a single person on this beach. Right now I'm stood basically on the border. I fear to go any more that way because who knows what's going to happen if I do and if I get caught. But that is behind me, Kaliningrad, Russia. One day I hope to actually visit Russia. It's a country that interests me. Before all of this shit kicked off and hit the fan, you know, I've been interested in it in a while, and hopefully at some point in the future things will calm down politically and I'll get to visit. I don't really want to visit right now. I know that you can still, but I'd rather visit when political tensions are a little less heightened, let's say. But that is crazy to look into there. It's my first time ever looking into Russia. What a fascinating world we live in, you know. And that, my friends, is the border behind me. And this will pretty much be the end of this video, the end of this little 5-episode series. I've had a really good time traveling down and exploring the coastal part of Poland. It's been really fun just stopping off and exploring each town and each city that I've stopped off at. Obviously, I couldn't go to every single place, every single town, every single city. That would have taken way too long. I've chosen places that either I had an interest in visiting or just that looked good when I was doing some research. Please let me know in the comment section below if there was anywhere, any hidden gems that I missed, whether that be a town, a city, a point of interest, a statue even, you know, anything at all that would have been great to add into these vlogs as like an addition. You know, I added in a variety of different things, from a concentration camp to ice cream to, you know, the canal we saw earlier, to whatever else we saw, you know, fairground rides and walking down the main pavilion and piers and all sorts. I tried to do my best to kind of show what each place had to offer, at least from what I was able to find. But obviously I appreciate the fact that I only had a certain amount of time in each place, and therefore I may not have gotten the best representation of each place, or maybe there would have easily been things that I'd forgotten to see, or things that I'd missed in my research or whatever. I mean, I was this close to missing going to Stutthof concentration camp this morning, because it was only yesterday that I realized, oh shit, we're near Stutthof concentration camp. I went to the World War II museum in Gdańsk and I saw on a map, I was like, oh wait, there's a dot near Gdańsk. What concentration camp is this? I need to look into it. Oh, it's Stutthof, okay. So now I had to go because I like to visit these places to learn about them, as well as show them in these videos. So if it wasn't for me going to that museum, I wouldn't have realized. I'd have just completely missed over Stutthof. Somehow my research didn't come across the fact that Stutthof was in Poland, let alone right along the sea, right along the coast. You know, literally part of what I'm doing in this video series, which is showing off bits along the coastline. And though obviously I try and show off the best bits of these places and cities and towns and whatnot along the coastline, and if there's something as historically important as a World War II concentration camp, I'm going to visit it and show it off in the vlog. at least a little bit. I don't know how much I'm going to put into this vlog yet, but I'm going to show it at least a little bit, because the whole purpose of this series is to show what the Polish coastline has to offer, and that is one of the things literally along the Polish coastline. So yeah, you know, like that was very almost nearly missed by like this much until last night when I realized that it's there. So then I had to move a few things around in my schedule to make that fit in, which means that I now don't have time to visit somewhere else, which I don't care about as much. But yeah, let me know if there's anything I missed in my research, or if I skipped over anything that I shouldn't have done, or whatever it may be. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this 5-part series. It's different. I've never done like a series like this before, so let me know you know, how you liked it, how the flow of the editing is going to be and all that. You know, I have no idea at this point while I'm walking through the forest near the Polish-Russian border. I'm just filming this and then I'll worry about it later down the line. But let me know how you found the series. I really would appreciate all feedback, comments in the comment section down below. And of course, if you could like the videos, if you could comment on them, if you could subscribe if you're new around here, you know, all of that stuff, it really would help me out, help out the channel. You know, I really have been trying to grow this channel this year. I've been uploading consistently twice every week. Some weeks I've uploaded 3 times a week. You know, it's been a grind, and I've been spending a lot of my time editing and less time focusing on language learning. So my language skills this holiday has been a little rusty, let's just say. I could have been a lot better if I haven't been focusing my time this year on editing all these videos that I keep uploading every Saturday and Tuesday. But I'm doing it because I want to grow the channel ultimately. And so if you could help me out in any way, or if you like these videos, then please let me know by a subscription or comment or like, or whatever you can do to help out the channel. It really would go a long way for me and helping out the channel, and I'd really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys so much for watching this series. I hope you've enjoyed, and hopefully I'll be back with another series soon. But for now, I'm going to continue uploading videos. I've got another week here in Poland, and I'm going to Lithuania for a couple of days as well. So I have no idea what's going to happen yet when I go to Lithuania or for the rest of my time here in Poland, but those vlogs will be coming out very soon. So look out for those. And yeah, that's it for this adventure here in Poland. Traveling down Poland's only coastline, coastal Poland, has been completed. Let me know what your favorite place was, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and do zobaczenia. Pa pa!